seriously every single morning of my life. It starts at 6 a.m. and it ends at like 6 or 7 p.m. It's crazy. One of the things that I've hated the most about living in the apartment that I can change right now is this. There we go. Fingerprint one. Hey, how's it going? Thanks very much. Have a good day. So probably one of the more important purchases that I've made in the short time that we've lived in this house is a new lock for the front door for a couple of reasons. Number one, I love these things. I never bring my keys with me, so these are great. The other reason is when we bought the house and we were given the key by the general contractor who gave us the final walkthrough, he said something that both irked and petrified me. He said, "I'm going to keep a key too, just in case." Now I understand what he was talking about was getting into the house so if we needed something fixed, he could fix it. But I don't like the idea of somebody having a key to my house, so I'm gonna rekey all the locks and put this thing on. I'm super excited. I may have just broke it. I was too busy focused on making the video and I put it backwards. So I haven't put up a video in a couple of weeks because we've been in the process of moving and Amanda's changed jobs and the kids are changing schools and we're getting ourselves moved in, and like everything just kind of seems like it's going not the way that we'd hope it would. There's been a lot of things that have been like terrible and then other things that have been kind of bad, and then like a couple of good things have happened. So if you've been following along with these videos before 2 weeks ago when I stopped putting videos up because every time I sat down to make a video it was like super negative, and I don't want to be negative. I only want to make positive videos because these are videos that are memories for me, for us later, and I don't want to remember the bad stuff that happened. So when we started moving, like the last video that I had actually filmed to put up was a video on the day that we were going to the closing on this house, which was such a complete and total debacle. So we were supposed to close on this house early in the morning, and then like at the last minute when we were clear to close, everything was fine, we got notice that the seller, who is the construction company building this house, decided that they weren't going to sign a document. And it was a document that would allot me a refund for not locking in my interest rate, which I think is a silly thing to do most of the time because it would have cost like $1,200 to lock in an interest rate. And it didn't change. So I did the right thing and saved $1,200, but they charged me for it anyway, so it was just a refund. I was getting it no matter what. There's nothing they could do about it, but they decided not to sign it. And then the day of closing came and they're like, hey, we need to push the closing, which ended up being partly because they weren't done building this and partly because they wouldn't sign that document. Like, why won't you sign the document? Just sign. Okay. So we pushed the closing ahead like 6 hours. It was supposed to be like 9 in the morning, ended up being like 3 in the afternoon. We get there, we sign all the papers, we go through all the documents, and then at the very end of it, when they're getting ready to close everything out and give us the file folder with all the information in it, they said, oh yeah, the seller still hasn't signed your refund and you can't finish the closing without that signature. Really? really? Like, weeks ahead of time. They knew about this weeks ahead of time. So we ended up waiting an hour and a half in the office that we were doing the closing in. Like 3 other people had come because they were doing a whole bunch of closings up and down the street. 3 other people had come and gone, and we were still just sitting there waiting because they wouldn't sign the paper. Finally, somebody came out after like an hour and a half and said, "You're all set," gave us our paperwork and kicked us out the door. We got a key to this house. Now, on the topic of the key to this house that the general contractor decided he was going to keep a copy of, I realized I could have told him, "No, give me all the keys, you don't keep a copy." But it's easier just to change the locks, because then I know for a fact, without a doubt, he has no access to this house. It irks me. It makes me feel weird to know that somebody could walk in here whenever they wanted. So no, you can't. So no, you cannot have a key to my house. I work from home. I promise. Anytime you want to come in to fix the things that you need to fix, I'll be here. I'll open the door for you. It'll be fine. So after we closed, we went back to the apartment. We had to stay there for a couple of days. Amanda was finishing up her last job, the last couple of days at her old school. The kids had to finish a couple of days before vacation, and it was fine. Slowly, we started making moves down here. We started bringing things. So the night we rented a U-Haul, we were planning on coming here, bringing beds, and we had a couch and all kinds of stuff, and we were gonna set it up and sleep here that night. And we did. We got here, we parked our trailer outside, and we unloaded the trailer with the beds and left the van kind of full of stuff. Then we woke up the next morning, and I walked outside to go unload the van, and the van is gone. Gone. Like, just not there anymore. Van's gone, trailer's gone. I'm confused. I woke Amanda up and I said, "Hey, we didn't like move the van or park it at somebody else's house and then walk here last night. Pretty sure that didn't happen, just had to be certain." So I went outside. I started trying to talk to the guys doing work on the other houses, which was a nightmare in and of itself because nobody speaks English. So we had to use the Google Translate app so that I could ask them, "Hey, have you seen my car? Because it seems to have driven off on its own." Well, I guess it didn't drive off on its own. There's this thing in Florida, this evil organization. They patrol and control the streets. And if you don't park right on the street, your car gets towed. I had no idea. Like, nobody told me. But apparently there are signs coming in on the street, and that's all they have to do. So after making a few calls and finally calling the police department, they're like, "Nah, you got towed." I'm like, why? Why did you tow me? What is the reason that I got towed? Can't even understand why I would get towed, but okay, let's learn more. So the police give me the number for the tow company, and then I go get my car out of Hawk. It cost me $500. It was $250 for the car, $250 for the trailer, which is kind of a scam because they took it all at once. I don't care if it's 2 things, you took one piece, charge me one price. So I'm not in a place where I can fight with what's called the CDD down here, but I will. It's coming. I'm trying to finish all of these other battles that I have going on. So we're mostly moved in. We still had a few more trips to do back and forth. There's some things about this house. It's fine. The house is great. The house is a place with a roof and air conditioning, probably heat. We haven't had to use it. And the window's open and the door closes after I fixed it because the people who put the latches on the door, the things that hold the door shut, they weren't in the right spot. So the door, either you push it really hard or you just don't close it. So I fixed that. But looking around, there's like some of the cabinets, the doors are put in a little bit crooked. The molding along the baseboards is done funnily, done wrong, done poorly, done sloppily. There's paint like all over the floors in here, just spatters of paint. And when we told the general contractor guy, the guy controlling this, he's like, "Oh yeah, you can clean that up with some turpentine or some paint thinner." I said, "Yeah, so can you." We haven't seen anybody come back to fix the things that we asked them to fix. Our old house was a house built in 1900. It was either the year 1900 or 1901. It was like a 120-year-old house, and it was fantastic. It was old. There were things about it that were frustrating, but it wasn't this. You know, it wasn't this quick job, sloppily done by unskilled workers who you hire at the lowest price you can possibly get them so that they do the work cheap, and then you push them really hard. Like, I don't know, we've already had some problems. Like when they were doing the lawn outside, they had to put in sewer pipes that go from the toilets out to the main sewer line, and I guess somebody had driven over it with a backhoe or a bulldozer or whatever they had and smashed the line so the toilets wouldn't flush one day. And if I hadn't noticed the bubbling in the toilets when somebody took a shower, there would be poo backed up in the sinks. True story. That would have happened. So those are just the things that have been happening over the last couple of weeks. I wanted to catch you up. The videos are coming back. I hope you enjoy these videos. Maybe not this video, but other videos, maybe. And if you do, awesome. And if not, I'm sorry. But Happy New Year. Happy Christmas, joyous holiday, happy birthday. The last thing I'm gonna say is our back patio porch, lanai, has the most wonderful sunset at night, and there's no trees around so we can see everything, and it's amazing. So I've been watching that like every single night, and I filmed it. I did a time lapse, so we'll end with a time lapse of the sunset from the back patio porch lanai. You're awesome. Goodbye.
Falling in love.